Okay, anytime, you're on.
Ready. When I was 15 years old, I started my own little business thing, and this is actually a real life photo of me. That's my first trombone I ever bought, and after mowing lawns, I paid $700 for it. I did a lot of research for it, and I finally bought it. Then a little bit later, I decided that I wanted to go ahead and upgrade to a different one. And to my surprise, this trombone actually sold for twice as much as what I bought it for. And so without my parents knowing at all, this little innocent kid right here went on eBay, signed up for PayPal, hooked my debit card up to it, and I bought 2 more trombones. And then after that, those ones kind of I got bored of those ones, and I sold those. And as soon as you know it, I ended up going through eBay, Shop Goodwill online, all these auction sites, and propertyroom.com. And within 6 months, I had that many trombones just in my room. Now, my dad, he didn't know about this. My parents didn't know about this. So every day after school, I would get home before my parents, and I'd see a package on the front door, and I just rush it downstairs, open it up and everything, and hide it in the closet. Until this one time when there was this really good deal online, and it was for $1,000, and I didn't have the money. So I had the guts enough to go up to my dad and ask him if I could borrow $1,000. And being the adopted kid and coming from the rough part of the neighborhood, he thought I was on drugs. And so then I finally told him what I was doing. I gave him a spreadsheet of the money I've been making, and he just told me, he's like, well, why didn't you tell me in the first place? Of course I'll let you keep you $1,000. So that's how I started with these auction sites. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you a little bit of what I do, a little example. So I would go ahead and browse eBay for auctions, and this one I saw this before class, and I have this nice little add-on. I look at the pictures, I read the description here, and I go ahead and click this little add-on button, which allows me to bid at the last second, right before this auction closes. It sets in a bid, and I'll go ahead and do that for you guys right here. And in my valuation of this instrument, I'd say $600 or 99 cents. You gotta do a little bit above the next person. And then I want it to bid at the last second, right before it closes. So that way, when I was younger, when I first started doing this, I was on the computer almost 24/7, just waiting for auctions to end and placing that bid. And sometimes my emotions would get in the way, and I'd bid even more and more and more, and I'd end up losing money eventually. So anyways, that's done. In 4 days, 3 hours, I'll either get an email saying I won, or I won't get anything at all. I can just forget about it. And I'll show you a little bit. This is one of the instruments that I bought here. And if you can see, these pictures aren't very well done, which is why I got this instrument for such a good price. And this, if I can get a volunteer from the audience, one of the most important things when you're buying a trombone is the slide. Now, someone tell me, according to this description, how is the slide? Okay, that's
Slide
my
works
point.
perfectly.
My point exactly.
Finally.
When I sell, I also make sure that, so here's the same instrument I sold for $1,000. It has pictures that people want to see, and the description down here. Tell me, how's the slide?
Just tuned, 9.5 out of 10.
There you go. Exactly what the customer wants. So this is how I make money, but unfortunately, I've seen a huge slowdown in instruments that I'm able to buy at an affordable price. I had no idea what was going on. I just thought that, oh, maybe people are just posting to eBay a lot less. Then I came across articles like this titled, "An auction, most eBay users don't have time for that." And as I kept on reading, I learned that nowadays, only about 15% of things on eBay are through auction. And the other things are through buy it nows. And that just rocked my world because my business model I've been using since I was 15 years old kind of just went down the trash right there. I didn't know what to do at that time. And I'll also have like a little graph for you guys. Right here that shows a little bit. All the listings on eBay, they have a bell curve where the far right is overpriced, yet they still sell at that. The middle, which is most of the instruments, they go for fair market value. And the far left are underpriced, which is where I want to go ahead and buy. But with the decrease in auctions, that totally limits, as you can see right here, that limits all the instruments that I can buy, and hence the slowdown. And yeah, there you go. And I didn't know how I could change up my buying practices until I made a mistake when listing a textbook. Believe it or not, I've actually sold all my textbooks for this semester. When I listed this one,
Finals.
when I listed this one, I think I listed it, I bought it for about $200. I listed it for $100, and it sold instantly. It wasn't even up for 30 seconds, and it sold. Actually, this was last year. But how in the world, I don't think people are searching for managerial economics and business strategy every second of the day. But I soon learned what people were doing, and they have programs that scrape eBay for them, searching for deals. And for my capstone, I designed a program myself to scrape eBay. Now I'll just go ahead and walk through this. This program, it takes an email address from where you'd like to go ahead and send it. So I set up this one right here. It has a password, and you'd also have to set up your email address as well too. Go ahead and take these to work with this. And then a to email address, which is right here. You can also send it to a text. You send it to someone's, send it via text to your phone if you'd like that too. You just enter in the phone number at Verizon.com or something like that. This right here, this is the listing. This is the current listing. So I'm going to go ahead. I'll just show you where I get the URL. So I want to go ahead and sort this by newly listed. Copy that URL. And I'm going to go ahead and paste that in there. And then this right here, the sold listings or numeric price, right here, what this program does is it scrapes all of the prices of things that have been sold already, and it gets the average price of all those. So with this, I could go ahead and look for saxophones, which I'm not very familiar with, and it will give me back the average price. So let's go ahead and test that. And the average price will go ahead and show down here. So it looks like for this URL, the average price of the listings is $986. If you notice, my phone would be going off right now if let's see, if there was something under that price. But it looks like the last thing listed right here was for $3,270. It is not notifying me because this is not less than $970 or $87. Well, let's go ahead and change that up. Right here, in this list, in this box right here, I can either do a URL or I can make a numeric price. So I can go ahead and change that. So let's say 4,000. Let's say $4,000, and then we'll start scraping. And we'll wait a few seconds. I just got an email, and there it is. So this trombone right here is under $4,000, and it just notified me that, yeah, hey, it's available. So let's go ahead and dive into this code right here. And I'll go ahead and explain. I used a bunch of global variables. I know that's not very wise in some circumstances to use global variables, but I decided to use it because this program will be running over and over and over, and I needed to reference itself in order for me not to keep on getting the same listings returned to me every minute that it searches. So right here is the main sub right here, run program. And this is the program that it runs right here. And here's the timer. I could go ahead and change this to, say, 5 minutes. I want it to run, or even down to seconds. And here is my variables and initiating things. This right here is it's searching for completed listings and getting the average price out of things. And right here is the if statements. Hey, if it's a number inside of here, go ahead and set the average price as $4,000. Or if it's a URL, go ahead and get the average price with this loop all the way up here. And then this one right here, this is searching for current listings, and here's my logic right here as to whether or not to send me an email. At first, I wanted it to send me an email every time I run the program, meaning every time I push that button, just to tell me that it works. But I decided against that just recently. It saves it to a list for future use. This is one of the global variables. And this is the HTML string right here that it ends up emailing me, as you can see right here. So I can go ahead and put links in here, and on the fly on my phone, I can go ahead and just click on something, click on it, and it'll easily take me there, and I can easily determine if it's a good buy or not. So that's the HTML string. And this is the logic of whether to send me an email or not. This is the biggest magic, probably the thing that took me the most time in this project. is figuring this out and how I'd like to do it. If the last price of the listing is less than the average price, then send an email. And this sub right here is how it sends an email. One of the harder things that I had to do was when scraping one of these when scraping this website, when I scraped it, I had to get, it gave me back a string, and I had to go ahead and convert that to a number. And that was hard because of the commas, the dollar signs, the period at the end as well. If you take out this period right here, you have 2 zeros on the end. So that was, in my opinion, a pretty tough challenge right here, which this code takes care of, converting it to a number so then you'd be able to bridge it out. Now to go ahead and show you guys a little bit of how useful this is, I went ahead and I searched completed listings for trumpets. And this particular brand of trumpet sells for $1,400. And so we start right here on this one. This one sold instantly after it was listed, which that would have been a good $600 in profits that you could have made if you knew about this the second that it was listed. And it goes and goes. And these are listings all within a month. So on this one, you could have made about $550. About $500 on these. And this is, it gets to the point where, yeah, it's not really worth buying because you only make $200 or so. And the prices go up and up, as I showed you with that, the bell curve. This is market value right here. You notice that most of them sell around this price range. And then the better the pictures, it gets even higher and higher. And brand new. But the great thing, the main reason why I wanted to build this program is, again, I'll go ahead and reiterate what I said earlier, but that's because I know a lot about trombones. However, saxophones, trumpets, I don't know that much about, and I'm kind of hesitant to buy them on eBay. But with this program, I'll go ahead and search up something else. Like these Summer Mark 6s, you can definitely make a lot of money. There's a lot of room there for money to be made, especially with the huge range of prices here. You can buy something for $3,000 and it really be worth $12,000, depending on how this person lists it. So I'll go ahead and put the URL here, and I'll start scraping it. And this says that the average price is around $2,000. Now that seems a little low. Let's go ahead and do this. I'll go show you why it's low. You have all these other miscellaneous stuff down here, just throwing off the price. So what you can also do here is have filters. You can do a price range. Let's just do 16,000. Let's just say I'm only interested in 3,000 and up. And I guess the price can go up very high. But you get the point. And with this, you can do, one of the things that I did when I was younger is I bought TI-89 calculators during school. And right as soon as, all the way until school ended, and right as soon as school started up again, the TI-89 calculators would go up probably about 200% in price compared to when I bought it. And that would be an excellent use case here, because you can go ahead and check what the average price is for those TI-89 calculators at that time, and make sure that you're buying under that average price. Then when school starts up again, instantly you get twice as much back from your initial investment. That is my presentation, and I really enjoyed working on this, although I'm not a very strong coder. I definitely did learn a lot in this episode.
So tell me what you've learned that will help you in your future career.
So in this capstone, my first idea kind of failed and backfired on me. I wanted to do it in a different language. Then I went to one of the professors here on campus, and he actually told me, he's like, yeah, I wouldn't do it that way. What I learned was to make sure to get a lot more background information on things that you start, and before going out and just doing it. Yeah, sorry to say, but the class last semester, I didn't take full advantage of. To me, it was only half a credit. And with credit, I'm sure a lot of students did that though. To me, it was only half a credit and just another hoop that you need to jump through. But now I actually do see the great value that it had, being that I spent 40 hours on a project that wasn't going to be completed.
So how much money have you made over the years, would you say, doing this little buy and sell things? I think I shared with you that I bought a couple trumpets and then sold one off and made a profit over, and still have a trumpet to keep as a result. It was very nice. But.
So I'll go ahead and show you. I've kept all the pictures of the instruments. And some instruments, I'll tell you, one of the tenor saxophones, I made about $7,000 on.
Wow.
On average, just something I just buy, on a whim, I get about $300 each.
Mm-hmm.
So these are all the ones I have currently for sale. Now, here are some more that I just sold within the last 2 weeks. And here are ones from last year.
Wow.
That I've sold.
You are a dealer.
Yeah, let me show you. Just again, I take advantage of people who don't know how to post.
It really is all about pictures with instruments. At least that's what I found.
It is. And then here's my listing again. It could be brighter, but
nice
it
pictures.
really does show the condition. And then, so I even have older ones from long ago. All of these instruments. Those are just images. But let me go ahead and show you from where I started. These are my pictures back in the day. And it's just with like 9 years of experience, I don't do the pictures anymore. I hire a professional photographer to do them, and honestly, I love it how I have so much more time having employees, and I'm more able just to go on runs with my dog or whatever.
So, so is this like the way you put yourself through school and everything then too? Nice.
And I honestly, I really truly believe that if I had this program, I would, I'd probably have a lot more free time too. It'd probably be a lot easier. I remember my freshman year, I was just so, I was actually really worried. Like, shoot, how am I gonna maybe next semester's tuition and things like that. But I mean, after the software that I built, it's just been so much easier just getting a text message. I was on a date the other day. It was really funny. My phone just started like agreeing to my date. What's that? I liked her. I said, "Oh, it's my flirting app. It alerts me when a girl's flirting with me." But really, it was just the notification of instruments that were good deals.
Nice. Okay. What questions do the rest of you have?
Totally.
Did that get you a second date?
What'd you say?
Did that get you a second date?
Probably not.
All right, very good. Thanks, Kata. It's on Slack. Are you on Slack? Second year, I'm on the same channel. Thanks for coming. Excuse me.
Nice to meet you.
See ya. Good job. So you have 20 minutes to present, 5 minutes for questions, some by timer for 20 minutes, just so that kind of gives you a heads up of where you're at. You're welcome to start whenever, or we can hold for a couple minutes if you'd like. You gonna wait? All right, sounds good. Perfect. Taking the view. It's a pretty awesome view, actually. Yeah.
I'll miss it.
Yeah.
Going somewhat Brisbane flat.
Where are you headed again?
Iowa.
Nice. Who do you work for? John Deere. That's right. That'll be great. John Deere's a great company to work for. Which city is it in?
What cities? It's Davenport.
Yeah, not super big though. Yeah. It'll be nice. Where are you from?
Feels home.
Nice.
So our capstone was on instant response, with training and learning with instant response. Shelby, our capstone, I guess, is a little different compared to most other people's capstones. Because we didn't do a programming capstone, we did more of a research-based capstone. And kind of a background behind that, Shelby had an internship with a company. She worked with instant response and actually had out an instant response plan for that company. Smaller company, so it wasn't too big. And then also I had an internship at the church doing security monitoring and protection. So we both kind of had some background in instant response.
So this is kind of where we came from. First started planning on kind of maybe doing a template of an IR plan that we would share with all the different colleges at BYU. So we went out and tried to validate this with the different CSRs and seeing if this would help. And from what we kind of validated, it wasn't going to be the most helpful because BYU has a really different structure in their infrastructure. How, for example, OIT does all the monitoring, and then the CSRs each department run the other parts of it. So it's kind of not a normal organization to work. But also, mainly on O'Donnell, he was wanting something more of a training to train the CSRs on its response. So this is kind of the roadmap or the run through of what we kind of did. So really quick, I'll go over to some basic intro to IR and kind of go through that really quickly. But mainly we'll talk about how the training that we actually did. That was our main part of our capstone, was actually hosting the training event where we had all the CSRs were invited across campus to come up and learn more about incident response. About halfway through the semester, we decided we wanted to add a little bit of scope, and so we added some new questions. Also, Dr. Dance's quest for lab, yes, Toby will talk a little bit more about that for this class, and lastly, we'll talk about some lesson learned. So just some basics on incident response. It's really important, as this quote shows exactly why. It's a very cost-efficient policy. Being prepared for incident response is likely to be one of the most cost-effective security measures any organization can take, because well-planned IR reduces the incident impact and costs, and because security incidents are inevitable. Exactly. No matter what we do, incidents are going to happen. There's no perfect firewall that blocks out everything. And so obviously you need to be prepared, and that's why we have incident response. We should have incident response plan. So this is the general life cycle of incident response. This is taken from NIST. So exactly, at first we start at preparation. This is where we kind of prepare for an incident. That's both in kind of preventative measures, so trying to prevent against incidents, but also just preparing to be ready for an incident to happen. That's having the resources available, just the know-how, how to handle it, who to contact, and just having all the resources put together, so when an incident occurs, you're prepared and can handle it well. Next step, you can move on to, once an incident actually happens, you need this step to detect and analyze the incidents. So this is monitoring, different detection, different systems like prevention and detection systems, firewalls, different things like that, logs that are events, things like that. So once you've detected and kind of analyzed incidents, so let's say a malware, then you could move to the next step of incident response, and that's containment or eradication. This is just exactly what it is, and you eradicate the malware or whatever else. And then the next step is, of course, learning from what you have done. Where can you improve, and what can you do better next time to be more prepared? So that's just basic incident response, and now we'll move on to the meat of our capstone.
There's been a good portion of our capstone just kind of learn the concept, study best practices, how it should be done, and then we are really happy with what we learned on the CSRs. Here's some of the topics that we covered. We presented in protection against multiple events, and focused out with security, and also kind of guiding, giving us some guidance. And Trevor O'Donnell is in charge of the security for OIT. So they helped us know what to expect as far as what the CSRs already know, what the problems are with the current system, and what should be improved on, and what kind of standard guidelines we should give them. So we put that all together. With their help, we made some flowcharts saying, okay, if your computer is actively attacking someone, pull it offline immediately, if not, just make a memory capture. And then you have to kind of look at what data is on that computer. If if there's any question of if you include sensitive data or have access to sensitive data, you're going to need to get OIT involved because there are certain laws regarding disclosure of breaches. So it's just good to do a thorough job with that so you know if anything was exfiltrated. And then just moving on through the process, put a bit of contact information. These questions kind of guide them through like, okay, if it matches any of these scenarios, then you take this step, otherwise don't worry about it. And just kind of tells them with workstations, they have the option of trying to clean the infection or rebuilding. That's kind of up to them.
Hey Shelby, you said that they helped you put this together. Who's they? Did you do this kind of interactively with the CSRs?
So we made the flowchart. We talked with Trevor and with Dr. Vance to make sure that it was following best practices, and also kind of adapting to real world circumstances, because ideally you would go through the full analysis, but also kind of making it fit to the needs of the CSRs. So that's kind of feedback process there.
Cool.
With servers, we take a slightly different approach because we want Trevor O'Donnell would like all the servers, if they're infected, to be rebuilt. Just wipe it, rebuild it. So it's a little bit less autonomy in deciding there, but we still give them that flowchart. Also, we have a difference here. We have them, we encourage the CSRs to contact OIT and schedule a penetration test. We give them some walkthroughs there, and then we'll also handing out to them, sending out to them either today or tomorrow, a more detailed IR plan that follows these steps, gives them some more details, kind of a walkthrough of things that we should do to prioritize what data should be protected versus what you can't really afford to protect. You have to prioritize based on how important that data is.
So exactly like I said, we decided to add some community courses just to buffer our time and also be able to use the knowledge that we've gained over semester. And so I'm just going to show you a quick snippet from one of our lessons in the community course. This is where Shelby is describing indicators of compromise. So this is where once you have gone in, looked at the source and gotten information, and then of course just kind of finding the leads within the malware or incident, this is what we would do to kind of go through an organization and find where the vulnerability is.
Take your best leads and use them to develop indicators of compromise. In order to be helpful, indicators of compromise need to ignore data that is common to the environment and pinpoint data that is relevant to the indicator. Once you verify that your indicators are accurate in identifying the malware or problem you're interested in, you can push the indicators out to several machines at a time to see which are infected. For example, I recently examined the detection Python script written by FireEye for the sinful knock attack that infects Cisco routing devices. FireEye had researched the malware and successfully isolated the defining characteristics of its communication. This particular backdoor sent commands to the infected devices with specially malformed TCP packets. So their indicator of compromise script is designed to send this specially malformed packet to each Cisco device on the network, and then monitor for its response. Infected routers respond differently than clean routers. Therefore, the script is effective at determining the extent of the infection by reporting back which devices are infected and which aren't. This should be your goal as you write indicators of compromise, because it will help you efficiently test to see the scope of the infection. Whether you use behavior-based indicators, network-based indicators, or simple known hashes, your goal is the same. With these initial leads and scope locked in, you're ready to continue your investigation.
So that's just a little demo of some of the union courses, what kind of our union courses are like. And so we'll now move on to, this was part of, I'll let you show you this.
Data training for CSRs and also for just general online audiences wanting to get background information. Said, hey, want to write my last book? He said, sure. So this is going to be based on kind of building off of the Adam Code course. He wrote a lab that would help students walk through the analysis for CryptoLocker. But it doesn't really include memory process, so we're just going to add a little bit to that. And I wanted to give a little bit of a demo showing some of the commands that you can run with the tool called Volatility. It's a free tool, and it can be really great at finding rootkits and just parsing through all sorts of information that's to be found within it. So decom rootkits generally try and hide processes, and this it shows how in an operating system it works based on threads. But what it reports to the user when you run pslist in the system kernel suite, run pslist, it's going to give you a linked list and just walk through that and say, okay, you've got this, 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 and this running. But the pointers can be manipulated to cut some of them out. So they're still running on the system, but essentially hidden to what you can see. So we're going to look at how you would discover a hidden process. So I've got a copy of Zeus. Pull it out. I have a memory dump from an infected computer that had Zeus running on it. There's a way to pull it out, but we're not going to do that. I installed Volatility already, so I'm just going to I run Volatility executable. I like the standalone version because you don't worry about the dependencies so much. And then you give it a file flag, and our file is here, desktop. Okay. So normally you have to go through and have it look at the kernel debugger data block to figure out what kind of operating system it is and what service pack version is running. But I already know it, so I'm just going to skip that part. And we're going to go straight to the part that shows hidden processes. So this command is going to look at the processes that pslist reports. And then it's going to go look at the, kind of walk through the VAD, the virtual address descriptor, I think it is. Yeah, virtual address descriptor. It's going to go through the actual memory and see what's running as memory. And it's going to compare. So if anything shows up in pscan as true, that shows up false in pslist, you know it's a hidden process, and nothing should really be hidden on here. There could be some exceptions for certain types of antivirus. Maybe those will hide to try and hide from malware. Maybe other rare exceptions could be in certain business environments where they want to monitor their employees or computer use, or have like a remote help from the service desk. Other than that, you shouldn't really have anything that's hidden. So you can basically track down these processes. So these ones show good because they're all true. It should be true all the way across. Here at the bottom, we have a few hidden we have one hidden process, this last one, .exe. So you want to get its process ID expid right here, 1944. You can track it down, find out what process started that one, where that file resides. But I'm just going to kind of skip on for the sake of time. We're going to look at the next concept, our next idea that helps us find rootkits.
Shift up.
All right, so this is explaining what a DLL should look like when the user calls, makes a library call. If you have anything that handles interrupts or like page faults, breakpoint traps, those should all go through the NT module because it has to go through the kernel, which is the highest authorization ring. So it's got to go through the NT module. That's also true even if it's a third-party module. So you can run, there's another command you can run volatility IDT, that's like the interrupt table descriptor. And that can tell you if something is falling outside of that process. You know, you should look at that in more depth. I'm not going to run that with you. So this is what normal DLL looks like. And this is what it looks like when you have a rootkit. Injection kind of squeezes itself in the middle so that it can see what's coming in, what's going out, and basically run a little mini man in the middle there. So we're going to look at There's a command run, you can run API hooks. It looks at all these hooks here that are pulling it in there, as well as loader modules. So let's go do that. While we're waiting for that to run, I'm going to pull up the results that I have from the previous scan that I ran. This one is for API hooks, just to show you what it should look like. It takes too long to run, so I'm going to do it. It pulls out all the assembly for each process. Just want to draw your attention to this one part that says hooking module unknown. That should be known. Modules that have been installed on your computer through proper, either through like part of the operating system or through proper valid sources should not show up as unknown. So this is something you could look at. And this, I typed it out to a file because it puts out a ton of information. So there's that. I think our load modules come up. And, oh, I usually do a fine string here. These columns should all say true. Every once in a while, we'll see one that's false. Okay, yeah. So middle, toward the top of that page, you see one that says false. Basically, that's showing that it's comparing the PEV list with the data in the VAD, and it's checking to see if it contains a map file or not. And so true or false indicates if there's a DLL with the same base address actually in the list. So because that one came up false, that's definitely something to look at. That's pretty sketchy. So it was pretty fun, a way to see what's happening with trusted tools. Doing that. Yeah, make sure it looks the data running. And so that's kind of a small sample of what the walkthrough looked like for lab for students going through a specific piece of knowledge.
We'll go ahead and just wrap it up with some of the things that we've learned from this project. So first off, of course, just kind of getting into incident response with depth and details. For example, what she has covered is memory analysis. It's part of incident response, but there's just so many different parts of incident response that kind of both just kind of sort of diving into different things. She got really interested in memory analysis, and so we just really were able to dive deep. And of course, that was our main objective with this project, is just get a lot of different information, knowledge of incident response, and just the importance of it. So another takeaway, of course, is just handling a training. It was a little bit stressful because you're kind of coming right out of school and you're going and teaching people that have been doing this for years. You know, they're kind of like, what are you going to tell me what I don't know? And it was a little bit, I don't know, we were anxious, but we felt like it went really well, and we lost time. And so that was something that we definitely did to learn. A big one is just kind of learning the issues that organizations really have in the real world incident response. You know, because when we're doing our research, we're looking really at the nitpicky, just really like, what are the best practices? Not all the other things aside. But when we actually started talking to Trevor O'Donnell and presenting this, we started to see the real world issues. There's politics. In a perfect world, you should never give admin rights to a person unless they really need it on the computer. Most professors aren't going to say, "Oh, sure, here." So there's some politics, there's abilities, there's just a lot of different things in it that make it so you can't go 100% on the best practices. So that was something we really took away from this and we bring into our careers. And lastly, of course, we did go really into the value of all of the data. Yeah, I guess this is it. And go ahead and
Questions? Tell us more about the time you spent with Trevor O'Donnell in preparing this training and making sure they would fit within EYU's organization.
Yeah, so he was the one who originally approached us about what to trade. Our initial intentions were different. And he said, this is something I wanted to do, but I just haven't had time to put together time, or I guess kind of what's happening now, is when OATs send their firewall picks something up for their intrusion detection, it sends out an email to the sysadmin, and they basically go run malwarebytes on it. And if it's clean, they're like, okay, well, it's clean. But antivirus can be cool. Antivirus is not perfect. It doesn't patch everything. And so we just talked with Trevor about some common problems and processes that are happening now and what he'd like to see happen. And we talked about ways to encourage CSRs if you want to make that a priority because they've got a lot to do. And so we talked about trying to make things work with what his job was, as keeping the network safe, enabling forensic investigations when that's possible, so they're not trampling over the data, and just trying to get that communicated to them in a way that would make them want to do that instead of just saying like, "What are you doing?" So, does that answer your question a little bit? Just coordinating goals with them.
I think so. But you coordinated with Trevor, but also Matt is the CSR lead, or tell us about that.
He's the coordinator for all the CSRs, so that we were able to advertise, get our word across. Apparently, the email went out to all the CSRs on campus, including just MTC, yeah, thanks. And then some other people who weren't even CSRs were contacting Trevor saying, "Can I come to you?" So that's kind of cool.
Just off of that, we kind of got two mixed signals between Trevor and Matt. There was Matt saying, "Oh yeah, these guys are really technical. You don't need to worry about it too much." But then when we went to Trevor, it's like, "Oh, you need to cover this. They've been messing up on this. Like, I see this all the time." And so, we met with Trevor O'Donnell at least several times throughout the semester, quite a few. I remember I sat down with him and just kind of went over our presentation, like our slides, just like the day before, just to make sure we weren't covering things that were like, we actually cut out a few slides just because, yes, they're best practices, but and it's part of incident response, but they knew what those were, but we didn't need to cover them. So we did kind of go through and see what was wanted and what was kind of not necessary.
We also met with CSRs to see what they were doing, see what their feelings were on it, and what they'd like to learn about, just to get a few different viewpoints.
So I have some Intex servers that probably need to have some memory capture done on them. Can you help me out? So I want to hear more about your Udemy course, where you're at with that, if you're going to offer it for free, or if it's going to be kind of a paid course, where are you at?
Yeah, we're planning with study free, and like it looks like we have so we're about halfway through, but we have all the content. We just need to actually go through and record them and do the video editing.
That's
so
awesome.
Yeah, free and
Consider charging $10 or something for it too.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it works because I don't know if they want to take a slice of it, so I don't know if they're let us publish it free.
Yeah,
But
so
I guess we'll have to look at the options.
yeah, you can publish free, or you can publish for the other. They'll take sufficient money from
Yeah,
you.
maybe we could post it one price and then give it to OA or BYU CSRs with a coupon, something so
Yeah.
free.
Very good. Very good. Other questions? Okay, great job. I think we have spin bias up next. Yeah, thanks for coming.
are spin bias. So for people who aren't very political, the word spin is kind of the equivalent term for turning a story in the opposite direction so that it will fit a narrative. Like after the political debate, some people, CNN goes to what they refer to as the spin group, where they talk to each campaign, and each campaign says that they're going to won the debate. So that's where the word spin comes from. So basically, the problem that we have, or that we identified, is that there's a lot of bias in news media. Most news stories tend to be left or right politically. It's kind of hard to come across an article that's written from a neutral point of view. So left or right being liberal or conservative, Democratic or Republican, general terms. So the more biased that a news article is, the less factual it tends to be. As the bias goes up, the number of facts actually included in an article tends to diminish. Right now, there's really no good way to detect bias in news media. Even Snopes.com, which some people go to find out whether or not something is they found in there that is true, it does have a bias to it. So basically, it's mostly good for finding out whether or not the Loch Ness Monster really attacked Barbie on people. So
I did not know this was a thing.
right. So basically, the solution is we create a news aggregator web app that acquires news articles from around the internet and displays links to them, and then it allows the users to actually rate each article based on their political bias. There's kind of three main goals with this. The first is to encourage journalists to report in a more neutral fashion. A lot of journalism is sensationalist and therefore biased one way or the other, because that makes for good ratings. Second goal is to help users understand what bias is and how to detect when an article is biased. And then the third is it allows us to help our viewers become more involved politically with anything that's going on. It helps them become more informed about current events. So in a way that they'll be able to share with anyone on Facebook and say, this is a good neutral perspective on this topic. So now we're going to have a demo. Let's take care of that.
Cool. Brad. Brad's been the real brainchild behind this thing. He's owned this domain for these 3 years now. About 5 days. Nice to meet you. So we take a look at that. It's not mobily friendly right now. You can look on mobile. It's not. It is mobile. However, we're going to show you a little demo here on our development server. Okay, so let me describe to you a little bit what's going on here. So we designed it kind of to be almost like a morning newspaper in this team. And the basic functionality would be the person would come here, be able to rate, and then see how many people have rated an article, and then see whether it's left-leaning or right-leaning. And the idea is it's almost like we're Rotten Tomatoes for politics. We love our movies, and we like to know if it's a good movie before we go and see it. Kind of the same idea with politics, and helping people not be swayed one way or the other. So here's a couple that I have just that I voted on earlier on. You can come in and you can see it's all voting for you. So you would click and you drag. We're going to be constructing some different widgets for mobile, and we also have a Chrome plugin that I'll show you later on. So this is just one. And then I can click to submit that vote. And it looks like I'm one of the first voters because usually you'll see a standard deviation and an average right here. This would be the individual vote. And I'll show you a couple of things you can do. So you can see view related articles, post to Facebook, and right here is where you see the stats of that specific article. So let me drill down. And this isn't completely correct. The author is not Bruce Willis. So you see a total
You don't know that, actually.
may or may
You
not
might
be
be.
Bruce Willis. So you'd see a total votes, and this is what gets people interested when you're watching a YouTube video. It's how many views, or how many likes, or how many shares, how trafficked is this article, and then you'd be able to see the standard deviation and where it's leaning, right or left. You'll also be able to see a few related articles down here that you can then vote on. This is a hyperlink that leads over to either CNN, Fox News, or wherever.
So one thing to add right there, these counterpoints. The idea here is that you can take the news articles of the same topic, and then you can show you 3 articles from different perspectives on the same topic, which is right there. Problem is, there are a lot of news articles out there. I pulled in 250,000 of them, and these are the closest matches to Bernie Sanders talking about oil.
So you have an algorithm that's automatically looking based on content of the article?
Yeah, it's right now it's just kind of a stopgap measure because we need a full industrial strength server that can run graph-based database searches.
Yeah.
Need some more resources.
I mean, you could do simply extract kind of some of the most significant words or unique words to that, and then do a clustering algorithm based on that to
Right,
figure out.
that's what we're actually kind of doing right now.
Cool.
Difference is we only have the title to work with because I actually filled up my entire virtual machine.
Nice. Nice.
So we ran out of parking space.
Got it.
Decided title was good enough for now.
Yeah, and you can see articles based on the world, top world stories based on business, and that's the basic website. We actually think that a larger portion of our traffic is actually on our plugin. You can see right here. Here's our Chrome plugin where we built about halfway completed. But you can come up here, and if it finds an article on the page, there's an HTML article tag that most news agencies will follow on the standard. They'll tag as an article. Finds that, and then you come in here and you see the same basic voting scheme. This one may not be somewhat conservative, same as what you would do. So you click the vote, and then it will display the diagnostics of that article. You can see what people have voted, how many people have voted, where it's leaning, standard deviation, stuff like that.
So the plugin actually solves a copyright problem. We aren't actually able to store or rather display content of these articles. Even the titles is a legal gray area. But we're moving on this and we can't. But the having users vote on the page itself allows us to directly to the page and say, hey, vote.
Yeah, that's interesting, your point about the legal gray area, because you have news aggregator sites like news.google. Certainly they have the titles and they have a little bit of the content as well.
A lot of the way news.google does it is they actually purchase the paper rights.
I see.
A lot of the articles.
Got it.
Some of them they do that, some of them they don't.
Okay. Cool.
And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. If you go to Pandora.com, you'll see a grayed out icon. So that's an example. That's an example of the site. But if you have any questions, hold on to them.
So implementation, we started off, thought we were going to have a lot of other technologies involved with this, and we didn't end up needing, which was strange. We needed more implementation of SQL servers. We thought we would end up using Angular, develop that in about a week, and determine that it was far more overhead than actually. We also were going to use Memcache but we developed a better algorithm for the SQL queries, and so it was no longer needed. There were a few technologies that we started off with and then dumped. But these are the ones we ended up with. And critical to moving forward is the cloud services from Amazon. One of the big things that I spent a lot of time on early half of the semester was figuring out how to scale a database horizontally. And we took a lot from Instagram, which showed how to do horizontal scaling via sharding, which is a very fun word to use when you develop with developers. It's nice in the kind of presentation. But basically the way sharding works is you have different databases that contain different partitions, and the partitions are movable between the database servers. So that allows you to have fewer records per database, and so queries take less time. The problem is it adds a massive design layer to the web server system, because you have to know which database you have to query. So most social media-based companies, most of the large ones, have to figure out how to do horizontal scaling right when they were experiencing massive amounts of growth. So it was very painful for all of them that I heard about. So we decided we were going to have it or design it with sharding in mind so that we could move that in either direction. So basically right here, general flow of the system, you've got your end user at a computer, they talk to the web, or the browser talks to the web servers. The web servers can talk to the database servers or the search engine, which, as I said, is very system resource intensive. Because of that, it needs pretty much its own machine. And then you've got the web crawler, which will be just kind of actively going around its own thing, stories to the database servers. So I think that's about it for the infrastructure.
Cool. So a few lessons that we learned moving through this is that deployment isn't as easy as it seems when you come up to it. That took us a while, but that was a good lesson learned. That you got to plan for enough time, not just to develop the product, but to also deploy it so the users can connect with you, use the product. The other two, time scheduling and stress management during the 4-semester development schedule. Oh yeah, 4 semesters. 4 semester, 4-month schedule. We're both working part-time and all that jazz. So in doing a project, it's important to have your schedule outlined. Have some really nice stress. Here's a nice feasible to in the music lounge. Let's do it. Nice stress. And effective practices, when we got together, we needed to figure out what it was we were going to work on that would have the most impact on the final product, the deliverable that we wanted. We could spend lots of time, doing research or doing things that may or may not help us deliver a product. So it was important to specify those activities and then make the effective practices as we work together. Version control, we have not broken our repo. It's still the same one we started with. Version control is sharing code back and forth, being able to go on the same thing. And the last one is partnership strengths. What's really cool is we found that if you want to find a good partner, find one that's complementary and not one that's really the same. If we do the same thing, we bring the same thing to the table. And so having Brad really strong on the back end and the development side, me being a little stronger on the marketing and leading into market. It's going to be really effective. Those are a lot of lessons that we learned.
So, 2 other lessons that I learned. First of all, XML, I found out is actually designed and developed by Satan himself. It's true, I read it on Snopes. And then there are just massive quantities of data out there that kind that exist in a single site. 250,000 articles from CNN is when I stopped and filled up my hard drive. And that's just one of the probably tens of thousands of news organizations out there. It's a very large data world. So plans going forward, like we showed you, the Chrome extension isn't quite ready. It's kind of early alpha stage. We're going to have that done, I think, next week. There's not actually that much complicated into it, but it's just not there yet. And then monetization is something we've been thinking about. We do intend to carry this project further. So ad revenue is a basic idea for a revenue stream. Selling ads interspersed through the articles. And then the other one, the other two ideas are selling user analytics. And the two main markets there would be political campaigns and news agencies. So if you want to find out what a conservative viewer thinks of the word or the phrase climate change compared to global warming, we can provide that kind of information to either an agency writing it or a political campaign might be interested in the effects of that on their support. And then launch plan, do you want to go into that a little bit?
Yeah, so some basic marketing strategies. Most of our market is going to be on Facebook, along with reading articles, sharing articles, and we can market directly to, and we can target them. Let's say they like CNN.com's Facebook page. We can do targeted ads for spinbias.com for the site and build articles, and then hopefully we can get some traction there and move on to some other social media like Twitter. Maybe even have a social sweepstakes for give us a like and we'll put you in for a social sweepstakes like Amazon gift card, something like that. So just ways to get some more user adoption and get our site launched.
So the big problem with launching something that's kind of social like this is we need a decent user base to start, otherwise we'll fizzle immediately. And if you rate all of the articles and find out you're the first person to rate each article, that's not very useful. So the idea is when we launch, we need to launch with a large group.
I wonder if you could gamify it a little bit in that those who rate the article first get extra points toward badges or something where there's some incentive to engage with content before it's saturated.
We consider a couple things along those lines, like the more articles you rate, the more weight you have, the more both carries.
Yeah, like that. How do you handle the case of really biased individuals just kind of rating everything all the way over here, all the way over there, and whether or not they're conservative or liberal, I could see both, sides, kind of trying to slam the other.
So the way our system works is it actually tracks the bias of the user as they rate and learns who is what this person is politically based on what other people have voted. So if they come in and they rate an extremely liberal article as extremely conservative, we know that they themselves are probably extremely liberal. So by looking at all of their votes kind of collectively, compared with the votes of other people, we can extrapolate the bias of that person to the point where if they are, say, trolling the system and using the system to some extent, we can block their vote. One thing that I really need to security on trolling and bot control. Essentially, the idea is let them think that they are doing what they are getting what they want.
Yeah, that's exactly my thought too. Is you better show them that their rating is there visually, even if your indicator doesn't, in the end, move it, or filter it in for them when they view it, but no one else really sees or is impacted by it.
Yeah, we can actually take their, we take a vote, and before we even add it to the code, we kind of do a mini audit on each vote and say, what weight does this vote have?
Mm-hmm.
If this is their first vote, we aren't even going to add it until they have like 10 votes. But they will still see that vote.
Yeah. Thanks. Oh, you have a question, Steve? What questions do you have? I have another question. Can you go back to your very first slide, or maybe your second after your intro? Yeah. So your second point here is kind of interesting. I almost think it's a different dimension than what you're currently capturing. You know, kind of this fact-based versus opinion-based in the article. And to me, it seems like, you know, fundamentally you're looking at conservative versus liberal, but are there other dimensions or ways that you could extend the same controls to have value to a different population and, you know, kind of do it relatively easily rather than, you know, just this one market?
So about halfway through, we decided that we wanted to be able to handle different, we said called campaigns. So the main campaign we're working with right now is liberal versus conservative. But in the case of this election cycle, you might want a campaign that is Trump versus Cruz. So you could write an article based on support which bias is right there. We didn't build that in because that was kind of out of scope and it was causing more headaches because it wasn't designed into the system. But wherever we could, we actually left holes in the system, so to speak, so that will eventually be able to have, like, for instance, the colors are all generated dynamically, so that you can take two colors representing two different ideas and then do a gradient into each other. So instead of being hard-coded, it's more dynamic.
I could see them, you know, kind of making this even more generic rather than just kind of biases. Even like, you know, like maybe voting on debate winners or something like that between parties and, you know, seeing some that are just slightly over here or way over there and kind of getting aggregate views out of the masses for something that may be pretty common, you know.
So
it's the next like 5-star rating label, right? It's the little slider bias.
So one thought that I've put in mind is, as I've gone through but a lot of the lecturers brought up the point where they started off in one field,
totally
and found out that they are actually meant for this field. Like PayPal was originally a PBA money transfer service, and then everyone used it more email, and that's how PayPal. So I thought occurred to me during one of those that, you know, maybe we'll get to the point where we can figure out the bias of a user or just their general rating practices and be able to sell that sort of service to like Amazon, where someone either always rates a 5 and someone always rates a 1.
Yep.
So potentially a vote scaling in this service.
Yeah.
So the question, it's going to require a lot of big data mining to figure out what people want to rate and how they want to rate it. What category?
It became much more of a database project.
Very good. Other questions?
Yeah, how do you identify a particular user? Do you have to log into an account to be on the website?
So that's something we didn't mention. You actually don't have to be logged in order to rate it. That actually, we penalize that because we prefer to know that this is a specific user event. It's anyone who doesn't incognito. But it's actually using a system called lazy user sessions, where basically you log in, it identifies you as a voter. And then when you sign up for an account, all of your activity prior to that point can actually be associated with your account.
But it's persistent just for the browser session, right?
Right. It's basically so. We'll have to do a lot more auditing on IP address so we can block the use of users. But
Like all those users coming out of BYU's 5 IP addresses, right?
So there's a lot of security questions that need to be answered. As we were saying, in a partnership, you want someone that can describe their weaknesses. I think we're missing one person and who knows security better, so they can give us better practices for what we know to an extent. But anything in the industry is better than what we have.
Other questions?
Is it going to be able to show real-time data eventually? Like one user's on one account, another user's on another account, they vote, and then the other people can see that person's vote?
That is the intention. It's not anywhere in the near future.
Meaning like one person votes, or like 25 people go to vote, the first 5 people vote, and the 6th person voting will see the previous 5 votes. Exactly. Yes, eventually that is
I think kind of the next step would be an interactive updating of the widget so that you could like monitor audience participation or views throughout a debate or something like that and see the needle changing over time. That would be cool.
Yeah. Something we do have to be careful of is there are people that will try to reverse and try and figure out the algorithm and then take advantage of that algorithm.
Sure.
And so we don't give the exact number of people that have voted, because if they do know that number, then they can try to coordinate and figure out the algorithm and then use that to influence things out. Cause our artistic
Yeah, there's a lot of ambiguity, specifically from the number back in the server. Like you get what you voted, but what you voted is not what we are. We're counting what you voted compared to the bias that you know you have.
Yeah.
So, but it still comes back and it's sort of what.
Any others? All right, good job. Thanks, gentlemen. Man, it just keeps going on. Good job. Nicely done. All right, we have connect deception detection.
What up? being recorded?
Live stream.
Live
You have
stream
one
today.
viewer. Hello, one viewer.
Is that you?
No, that's sometimes you have 0 viewers. So you have one viewer. It might be your mom or dad. Yeah, this is actually Google Hangouts on it. Stream to YouTube. So. All right, you're good to go, gentlemen. I'll set a timer for 20 minutes so you know that you're getting toward the end of your time. Yeah.
Alrighty, so thank you everyone for coming to our capstone presentation. My name is Matthew, this is Trevor, and then this is Derek. And we're excited to present to you today on our Connect Deception Tracker program. We initially came up with this capstone project with prompt from Dr. Maservi and a problem that is facing researchers who are studying deceptive behavior. Essentially what is going on is that a lot of the research being conducted is purely observational and just an interviewer interviewing a participant and recording hand movements and things like that using their own eye. And also there's things such as the polygraph and Zoom get to hear that can help detect if someone is lying or not. But we wanted to take this technology into the new age and use something to solve the problem of deceptive behavior that would be really interesting. And so we settled on using the Xbox Connect version 2. So what this does is it allows us to have a cheap and simple interface for researchers to use as they study deceptive behavior. And Microsoft Connect allows us some functionality that is really cool. And Trevor's going to talk more about the Connect and what its capabilities are.
So first of all, the Connect is cheap. We did see a video yesterday where we're looking, I guess the university put together their own lie detector as well, but it uses like 6 different cameras, all pointing in different directions, recording like several different things, and then we have like some digital guy that would ask you questions from time to time. And they call it Avatar, and that was an acronym for something really long and hard to understand. It just sounded like they wanted to call it Avatar.
So that actually probably comes from the same group that where I studied, and
Yeah.
so it's kind of a subsequent system. We can have a discussion about it later, off camera.
Great. So the Connected would be a lot cheaper than that, and it records all of these different things. First of all, it has infrared, so it doesn't matter if lights are on or lights are off or anything like that. It's going to see what it can see. Depth is huge because it can tell the difference or the distance between the camera and somebody else, or between hands and other joints. It'll capture the body form, which has 25 joints, and so this is what is this, vitruvius? Is that vitruvius now? Something like that? What is that? It's something like the Vinci. And it's got all the different points that are tracked on there, and so you could track 600 different distances between 25 points to 24 points, which is a lot. And then on top of that, it's got an HD color stream that's coming in just to make it a little bit more readable for humans to look at instead of looking at depth and infrared. And then you can put all this together and get some sort of 3D space out of it. What we did with the Connect is, first of all, we created an interface that syncs up with the database so that a researcher can come in and create experiments and create or put subjects or participants to those experiments. And then on top of that, we use the Connect to be able to start recording some information. So right off the bat, we were able to record the distance between the hand tips, the hands and face. Furthermore, you can capture angles between the elbow and the armpit or anything like that. You can see if the back is arched or if they're leaning in or leaning back. And then we took all that information and we recorded it to a CSV file that gets printed off in the background that then somebody can put into Excel and create all the graphs that we need to create. So
with our technology staff, we got a pretty simple one. So we made the program in WPF, Windows Presentation Foundation. It's your basic Windows program. And with the underlying language being C#. So we use the Connect, and so the Connect version 2, associated API, a third-party API called Vitruvius, and SQLCE, which is SQL Compact Edition, which is, you don't have to have the full instance of SQL Server running to get this, similar to SQLite. And so all of this is running on Windows OS. It can't run. So next, we're going to show you a little bit.
So this is our application which we were able to develop. It's just got a basic look and feel for a Windows computer. When a researcher wants to do some research, they can come in and create a new experiment. And just give their experiment a name. And description.
Wow, that is very descriptive.
Yeah. And then they'll be able to create an experiment. So what we have here is a list of participants, and as a new individual comes in for preview, they can just click to add a new participant and give that new participant code so that they would be anonymous during testing. And then pick whichever condition that they previously set up, whether they want to be a control group or a truth or lie group. And they're able to add that and see all their participants there. And basically, it just gives the experimenter a simple to use interface that's not too much info. So then you get right into asking your participant questions and recording the data. So we're excited to show you the Connect recording. And we're going to switch computers here for a second to get back there.
I have the Connect running right now on my Mac. So, well, it's a boot camp Windows, so it's not a big distinction there. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to jump in and start it up. We'll get ready here soon, and there's our image. I'm going to get there to go out there. So what's happening is that the Connect is recording 30 frames per second. It's recording infrared, depth, HD, and then everything that Derek is doing with his body. Right now we're tracking 3 different distances. We've got hands to hands, right hand to head, and left hand to head. When this first started recording, we were like, what is this number? And it was just arbitrary one-word stuff. And we found out later that it was recording in meters. But since Americans don't know what to do with the meters, we had to convert it into inches. So now it's recording in inches up to 1 decimal. I have this fancy little record button that I'm going to push, and once I hit the record button, it's going to record a different data point twice every second. I could have recorded 30 data points a second, but that just creates a ridiculous amount of data. I mean, like, your hand doesn't move that much 30 times in a second. So I put it down to once every second. You can do 5 times a second, 10 times a second, all depends on the code. So once I hit record, it's going to start recording all the distances that Derek is doing. All those numbers are getting pumped out into the CSV file. So, I mean, as Derek moves side to side and does all those things, it's already like head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes, head, shoulders, knees and toes, eyes, ears, mouth. You didn't do it. All right, it's fine. I'll stop recording here, and right away it saves it out to a CSV file. I don't have Excel on this computer, so we're switching back to Derek's or Devin. So it's Matt's his name. Groups. Yeah. And you'll see right away. This is some old data that I collected a little while ago. Right here we have our timestamp every second. Distance hand left to head, hand right to head, and then, or sorry, this is hand left to hand right to head. I also, is it just alt tab? I also put it into formatted it a little bit more. So what I was doing is I was just standing in front of it and I was just doing this, just to see if it recorded. So that's like getting closer together, getting farther, closer, farther, and this is to the head. And then I tried to touch my toes here and failed miserably. And then picked myself up and got over and stopped recording. So that's what's coming out on the other side. We hope to have a little bit more coming out, but we ran into a few difficulties. Derek is going to talk about that, so I'm not going to steal his thunder.
All right, so difficulties. We ran into quite a few. So, as we mentioned earlier, the Connect is Connect version 2. So the Connect version 2 is relatively new. It's about a year and a half old. Whereas the Connect version 1 now reached the end of its life cycle and everyone has made APIs or plugins and everything for it. So the Connect version 2, there's not a ton of support out there for it. We were able to find, with the help of Dr. Sergi, a third-party API called Vitruvius, and that helped us a lot. But also we were hoping that they would be able to help us with the recording feature, and that one they didn't come out with it. They said it. So we were holding our breath for that one, and that one just didn't follow through for us. So that one held us back a little bit. We were dead in the water for a little while. Other than that, we had the SQL Compact Edition. This wasn't a major difficulty in the long run. It was just trying to get that one started because we wanted to use that one, but it wouldn't interact with the newer versions of Visual Studio very well, so we had to go out and find another third-party application plugin to get that up and running, and that took a while because we had to change versions of Visual Studio and everything, and trying to its downloading time and everything. It took a while to get that up and running. And then the biggest and probably the thing that was most for all three of us was we all need to learn C#. And so there's a lot of time put into learning for that. Lessons learned. One of the first things that we learned was that we needed to know better where to start. Going into it, we had an idea of what we wanted to do and where we wanted to go with it, and an idea of how to start, but we didn't have a super meticulous plan for what we were going to do. So we kind of fell into this loop of, okay, we need to start here, but we can't start that without doing this, but we can't do that without doing this. And so we're just kind of back and forth until finally we said, all right, now we can make a plan, and then after that, we were able to move forward. So it's kind of a rough start, just fell into a loop of just not being very efficient.
This next lesson learned is mine. I got a little bit difficult. External deliverables are like a two-edged sword. So when we first got into Vitruvius, it like shot us forward like 50 hours into the future. Because all the support for the Connect version 2, I started working on it in order to capture the data, and I had written almost like 500 lines of code, and I hadn't captured anything yet. And then we get Vitruvius, and I put in 5 lines of code, and bam, everything's working fantastically. So it really shot us ahead. But then all of a sudden we're like, okay, now we want to be able to record things. And so we talked with Vitruvius, talking to Sergi, who was our advocate of Vitruvius at the time, and he was like, okay, well that's going to be ready in February. Well, by the end of March, we finally got an email and said,
Yeah,
hey,
just like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
A week and a half ago. And I still don't have it.
He said, it's ready to go. And then he said, okay, great, how do I get it? And then they said, we'll send you right? So we still don't have this record functionality. So I ended up having to go out and try to find some new functionality to be able to do it. I wrote something, I put it in there, I didn't enable it because it wasn't really working that well. And then we fell back on being able to record to CSV because that was the best that we could do with the time that we had for that and with the functionality that we had. And then the next 2 lessons, lessons that I had learned, it's important to understand the scope from the very beginning. What we were planning to accomplish. And we were really excited, and we had a lot of things we wanted to do. And we pushed ourselves thinking we could get more done than we actually
and time allotted. So that's where I also think project management is key. We need to understand how to make accurate time estimates and build work breakdown structures so that we can focus on the tasks that we need and be able to really move through our project and understand what deadlines we can.
Moving forward, as Trevor and Matt were saying, we didn't quite get all the things that we had hoped or had planned for in the beginning. But hopefully, in the near future, if the two of these follows through, we'll be able to get the reporting features in there. We built it planning to be able to use their feature, so it should be pretty simple to build that in there, get the reporting features in there, and moving on from there. But we're still depending on that external data. After that, we wanted to be able to key in some of the things. So sitting there, you're interviewing someone every time they takes whatever the event is, then it's recorded so that you can go back and look at that to use it in your study. So along with that, we need to be able to replay the old recordings. All of that combined with the recording the gestures or the events that happen, going back and being able to review that and maybe fix or add in any recorded events that you may have missed or speed, something like that. So the dynamic tracking of joints is something else that we would like to have added in. We have it in there, but we'd like it to be a little bit more flexible for the user. That used to be suggested that we might be able to, in the future, write a language, a simple language for people using the program to be more flexible with recording the joints and in how they would like to have that done. So that's a lot of work that we were able to put in there. And then maybe in the future, this could be another MISM Capstone, like we were saying before, the Connect version 1. That one is out there now in Connect version 2. It's still new, and it's got a bunch of things coming out for it. People like contributors continue their work. We kind of set the foundation, and we think that other people will jump on ship. We can recommend that.
I just want to piggyback on that and say that if somebody else does want to pick up this project and go forward, they have total access to at least myself. I know about I don't have a job yet, so I mean, they come in.
Will you do my capstone for me?
Yeah, exactly. They would be more than willing to give us a call and we will Skype, FaceTime, phone chat, whatever needs to be done in order to get the product to where it is right now and pressing forward with what needs to happen. I could see this using 2 or 3 more capstone iterations. With that, any questions or feedback?
Questions?
Did you guys have to buy anything yet?
The nice thing was that I bought an Xbox back when they were packaged with the Kinect, and they never really used it. So I already had the Kinect, but I did have to go out and buy a little adapter for plugging in for PC. But the survey has a Kinect also that that's the kind of time.
So you can buy the adapter for your PC with just the regular Connect now for like $50 or something. Then you can program using the SD card. Super, super powerful. Recording is a pain, a huge pain. But you found another way to do it though, right? Saving it to the Connect Studio format?
Yeah, so apparently Connect has tools that allows you to pull every stream of data that's coming and stick it out into a file and then pull it back in over time. When I said that I have code written and put in there, but I haven't turned it on because so I was like, I'll just turn it off for now and we'll revert to CSV. I imagine once the truth is has everything going, it'll be simple as, well, hopefully it will be as simple as it was to get the screen going. Right now it's several lines of code.
Yeah. Other questions? All right, thanks, gentlemen. And that concludes our capstone presentations for this year. Adios, online viewers.